Hey, this is Josh at Powerstroke Customs. Today we are going to talk about custom tuning and tuning devices for your Ford Powerstroke diesel. I have been doing a lot of custom tuning for a while, and I'm going to show you the devices that I use, I recommend, and stuff I don't recommend. Let's start with the 7.3s. The first thing on the 7.3s, you'll see a lot of these Hydra chips. The Hydra chips are custom tunable. There's a software called the Minador software that allows us to do custom tuning on those chips for pretty much any 7.3. These ones, they have a little box that comes with it that mounts in the cab, and it allows you to put, I think, 15 different tune files on it, if I'm not mistaken. And it allows you to have more tunability options than an TS performance chip or an Edge revolver chip. So if we look at an Edge here, for instance, you can get an Edge Insight, and then you can do the revolver chip as well, which is this guy right here. You can combine this and put it into the CTS3. We can custom tune these chips just like we can. It's basically the same thing as the Hydra, but the only difference is with the Edge chip, you're gonna get only 6 positions. With the Hydra, you can get a whole lot more, and more modes. Now, one thing to really notice is on the 7.3s, when we do change the tune on the Hydras and the revolvers, they do change transmission parameters around as well. When we get into the 6 liters, 6.4, and 6.7s, that's a whole different story. So, as far as what I recommend for devices, if you are using a CTS3 or CTS2, even though the CTS2s are discontinued now, but with the CTS3, you can get you can plug the revolver into it, and it allows you to change your tune on the screen on the fly instead of using the switch. And you also get the monitor as a plus, so you get to monitor the truck. With the 7.3, there's not a whole lot of PIDs. Obviously, you can adjust with that, but with the that's having one benefit here with the CTS3 and the revolver combo, compared to a Hydra. You can run a Hydra chip and run an Edge CTS3, but you're not going to be able to use the CTS3 to change the tune file on your 7.3. So, those are the 2 recommendations I have for you on the 7.3 tuning side of things, and this is what we use. And let's step into the 6 liter. For 6 liters, we go right to using SCT devices. The X4 is a good entry level, or the Livewire TS. With both devices, you can add PIDs using the LiveLink software. You can also use it to monitor. You can add more things to it, just like you can with the Edge CTS3. The Edge CTS3 will give you more will give the Edge CTS3 will give you more PIDs that you're after. But as far as EGT, and if you want to add stuff to it, you have to buy the accessories kit that they sell. So you can do all these universal sensor or competition kits if you want to add more PIDs to it to look at what your truck is actually doing. With the SCT devices, they do sell an accessory kit where you can add, for fuel pressure, EGT, and stuff like that. But you're not going to get more than, I believe, 12 PIDs on a live wire. You're not going to get more than 8 PIDs on the X4. The next thing I would recommend using for tuning, if you want to do your own custom tuning, would be to go with HP Tuner. Now, HP Tuner is a kind of like a do-it-yourselfer device. It allows you to flash the ECM, PCM, the TCM, which is the transmission control module, and you can flash the FICM all with the NVI2. But you cannot do that with the X4. The X4 only allows any SCT device only allows you to program the PCM and the transmission control module. It does not allow you to program the FICM. So if you want FICM tuning, you need to use either HP Tuner or an actual FICM tuning device. So the next device that you can use to tune your 6-liter is the Edge Evolution CTS3. So this is a tuner. It does reprogram the factory PCM. But here's one thing I wanted to show people here. This is your vehicle data parameters. Now, believe it or not, the SCT device will allow you to see more PIDs than this. And how you do it is using the LiveLink software. You can plug your SCT device into your truck, plug in your laptop to the device, and you can create your own PID file, which you can choose more PIDs than what you see here. A lot of things that's missing is in the transmissions parameters. You can see lockup, which you can see here. You can see torque converter lockup, but you can see the actual clutch solenoid activations. One thing that you can't see is FICM sync. That's one PID that SCT is lacking, and I'm working on it, but I'm trying to get it, is FICM synchronization. That's one thing that we cannot see on the SCT device. Another thing that doesn't read correctly on the SCT device is exhaust back pressure. It will read it correctly, but not in PSI. So if you're looking at exhaust back pressure on an SCT device in PSI, it is not seeing it correctly. So with some Edge devices, the Edge, I think it's the Pro, you can use HP Tuner to put your custom tune files on the Edge devices. I'll talk more about that later, but I just want to get into devices that we use and have used in the past to tune your truck. Okay. So the next thing um, with I want to talk about with HP tuners. HP tuners does allow a shift on the fly parameter or a switch on the fly parameter for the 6 liters. The only problem with that is it doesn't change the transmission when you go from level 1 to whatever level you want to go to. The problem with the changing and doing switch on the fly with the six liters and 6.4 is not having the capability to actually change transmission parameters around. And you won't be able to do that all the way up to 2022. So anything from a 6 liter and up, switch on the fly, you can only change your PCM stuff around. And with HP Tuner, you can actually change timing, fuel parameters, boost parameters, and stuff like that. It will give you the same benefit as a Banks device. Now, problem with Banks systems is they are an inline tuner, so there's no customization at all with the Banks device. Now, I do know that Banks has dialed down the horsepower output on the 6 guns than what they used to be. So the problem with the 6 gun is it's not capable of changing transmission around. So your transmission, what they want you to do is use the adaptive learning and the transmission shift points. So if you have any turbo modifications done, injector modifications done, or anything to your 6 liter, this 6 gun diesel tuner is going to be useless for you. There's no custom tuning whatsoever in it. It's just an inline tuner, and it's, yeah. So I don't even sell these, just because of the fact that I can do way more in the 6 gun than I can, or in the SCT devices than I can with the 6 guns. So let's move into 6.4. For 6.4, again, you can use the HP tuner for tuning. We can also use SCT devices, which I use a lot of. So especially for doing a lot of custom tuning on the 6.4, which there's a whole lot you can do to those things. The X4 and the Livewire are my go-tos. The BDX devices, I'm not a big fan of. I haven't had really good luck with them working correctly, so I don't use those. Monitoring, you can use SAT device, and again, you can use LiveLink to add more PIDs to the device. So if you want to see more stuff, you can. Or you can use the Edge CTS3 for monitoring. And then there's H&S. H&S I can custom tune as well. The problem with H&S is H&S Performance got sued. The device is not my favorite fan. It's super small. They do have switch on the fly settings, but it's not going to change your transmission. And I've had a couple of these brick a computer. I've also had a couple problems with them just not working correctly. H&S is a big thing. You'll see a lot of on the 6.4s and 6.7s, and on the Dodges. So that's, I just don't use them. So, but I can tune for them. Next, so if you got a 6.4, SCTs, you're probably your best bet. Next is 6.7s. 6.7s, again, SCT is my go-to for everything. If you have, if you want to stick with emissions on, the Banks Derringer tuner is a 6-level switch on the fly tuner. It's an inline device, so there is no flashing of the PCM and stuff like that on this device. Again, the problem with this device is if you do any modifications to your truck, this device is going to be useless. It will not tune for injectors, pump, turbo, transmission. It won't change any of that. With this trans command thing you see right here, in the stock PCM of the computer, there is a setting, I guess you would call it, that's called transmission torque reduction. What it does is when the transmission goes to shift, there is a specific reduction on the torque output of the motor. So what it does is it automatically defuels the engine for a split second, so the transmission can shift, and basically is an adaptive learning feature of the transmission. Now this is on 6-liter, 6.4, and 6.7. This already exists in the factory PCM. So this whole protects your transmission. The reason it's doing that is because it's using the settings from the torque reduction in the PCM already, and it's just going to defuel it. So this is not going to give you any transmission shifting features whatsoever. It's not going to increase line pressure on the transmission or anything. So theoretically, with the tuning that I've seen, doing custom tuning in an SCT platform, we do need to add some line pressure, and we do need to, there's things that on the 6-liter, lock up, canceling out 6 gear and tow haul. When we do a race file or an aggressive street file, we want to make sure that torque converter is locked up in a specific gear. Some people lock it up in 3rd gear. Some people lock it up in 5th gear. And then use tow haul button to allow us to unlock the torque converter when we don't want it to lock up in 3rd or 5th. So there's a lot of different things that we can do with custom tuning that you cannot do with a tuner, inline tuner like this device. With HP Tuner, you can change transmission stuff on the 6.7s and the 6.4s, but again, not in a switch on the fly setting. Another thing you'll see that's very popular on the 6.7 Powerstrokes is a device called EasyLink. EasyLink I stay clear of. Now, here's why. SCT and a bunch of other companies were visited by the EPA, and SCT went through their lawsuit and handled their stuff in court already. EasyLink is the next one in line. Now, the problem with EasyLink is it uses a cloud-based server for all their tuning. So the tunes don't necessarily stay on your device, and whenever you want to change something, it has to go through this cloud. Well, what happens when that cloud goes away? You lose everything. So you have to connect via Wi-Fi to change your tune. You have to link up to a technician, and it just becomes a headache when on an SCT device, I can sell a tune file. It'll save to the device, and you can change your tune wherever you are, no matter what. So with SCT, with EasyLink being the way that it is, a cloud-based technology, I don't see that working in the long run. So that's why I stay clear of it and I don't use them. So that's my information there. So our next tune video, what I'll do is I'll show you a couple differences between what HP Tuner, HP Tuner, HNS, and SCT, what it allows us to do inside of the custom tuning. I'll just give you a little bit of insight on that, and we'll discuss what the custom tuning world looks like from our point of view. And make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.